வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். C.R. Madhusudan, also known as I Satyagraha, Makkal Needhi Maiam, North America. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் கப்பலோட பேச போறோம். எப்படின்னா இவங்க வந்து he is a well known industry leader in the financial services industry and payment basically payment industry la வந்து he is well known and he's been in India for a long time. EFunds அப்படிங்கிற கம்பெனில ஒரு சீனியர் வைஸ் பிரசிடென்டா இருந்திருக்காரு. His wife is apparently from Tamil Nadu. நம்ம வந்து தமிழ்நாடுல வந்து நம்ம இந்தியாலயே பாத்தீங்கன்னா நிறைய ஆக்டர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து இன்டர்நேஷனல் லெவல்ல ஃபேன்ஸ்லாம் இருப்பாங்கன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் ஒன் யூனிக் திங் இஸ் Kamal sir, as a politician, he is gaining a lot of attraction outside India. So இன்னைக்கு அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு ஃபேன் ஃப்ரம் த அமெரிக்காஸ் நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். அவருக்கு வந்து why he likes Kamal Haasan, அவரோட எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன்ஸ் என்ன, ஆஸ் அ பொலிட்டீஷியன் கமல் சார் பத்தி என்னன்னு நினைக்கிறாரு, அவரோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இன் இந்தியா, இது எல்லாத்தையும் பத்தி பேச போறோம். His name is Mr. Monte Harris and Mrs. Harris are going to join with us. Welcome, Mr. Harris. How are you? Awesome. So first of all, thank you very much. Welcome, madam. எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
I'm fine, Madhu. நல்லா இருக்கேன். நீங்க எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
Awesome. நல்லா இருக்கேன். Thank you very much. So welcome, Mr. Harris. Thanks a lot for making time. And I was actually thrilled to know that, you like Kamal Haasan, you as a politician, right? And we're going to talk about your exposure to Kamal Haasan and all that. But first of all, I was very thrilled to know somebody like you, who's been in the IT industry for a long time and, in senior positions. You spent a lot of time in India. So we're going to talk about all that. So one of the first questions that I had for you is, I heard you lived in India for a long time. Can you please tell us how long, when were you in India, and where were you in India?
I lived in India for about 14 total years.
Okay.
I worked for 3 companies. I worked for Verifone in Bangalore as the CMD. I worked for Ness as a consultant to set up their offshore lab for about 3 or 4 years. And then I came to Chennai and worked for EFunds as a senior vice president of global software development, where I had global centers all over the world, development centers all over the world. This was and the first time I came to India was in 1992. After 15 years, I lived 15 years in Europe with running companies and working in various positions in Europe. And at that time, I didn't know much about Chennai, and obviously I didn't know much about India. So I started living there in 1993. Due to an unfortunate circumstance, the VP that was over that division for Verifone had a heart attack and passed away. And so the chairman called me and asked me to stay in India.
Okay.
And I said I was fine with it. So I stayed there. That's when I started living there and became the CMD. The only exposure I had to the Indian government, I don't know if this is relevant, but we decided to build a technology park in Bangalore. So I was responsible for negotiating all the contracts and doing everything. So we imported some air conditioners we imported them, they were import. So when customs got them, they wanted to charge me more than the cost of the air conditioners.
Wow.
And this for 3 buildings. And I said, I'm not going to pay that. So I found a consultant in Delhi who could kick any door open that you wanted. He could get in to see anybody. He was a pretty famous guy. So I put him on retainer. I had him get me the proper meeting with a proper person in Delhi, which was above a commissioner. And I went and met him and I explained to him that if you're promoting IT and you're going to charge this for air conditioners, which are required to run the kind of equipment we have to run, air conditioners are very important. You won't go very far.
Mhm.
And after I talked about a half hour, he said, "You make a good point." He says,
Okay.
I'll call the commissioner downstairs and you go see him." So he called down and he just told the guy, "This guy is here from Bangalore, and the commissioner, you're trying to charge him customs on the air conditioners, and it's too big, too much.
Mhm. Mhm.
So why don't you talk to him? Because I think
Okay.
he's right." So I went downstairs. The guy was scared to death, and he said,
Mhm.
"What letter do you want me to send?"
Mhm.
So he said, "You write the letter. I'll send it to Bangalore."
Okay.
So I wrote the letter. He sent it to Bangalore.
Nice.
I watched him send it to Bangalore, so he wouldn't tell me I sent it, but they didn't get it.
Mhm.
And we got that reduced. So I realized then that they were charging what they wanted. They had no standard for what they
Okay.
wanted to charge.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So this was much back in like early 90s, right?
There's the early 90s.
Early
So
90s. Wow. I would have been in my elementary or middle school. I don't remember when. Uh, so one thing I wanted to ask you, right? Since you've been you've lived in India for about 14 years, and you said you've also lived in Chennai. What are the things that you thought US could learn from Tamil Nadu and like vice versa? Like, what did you think Chennai, Tamil Nadu could learn from the US?
well, I thought that the thing that the US could learn, and it's become more prevalent with COVID-19,
Mhm.
is the nutrition and the use of spices as medicine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And because the reason, and this has come up, and I've talked to a lot of people out there because I have a small company, and I
Mhm.
talk to those guys all the time. And you've had a very low death rate compared to the amount of cases. And,
Yep.
and I believe it's because of the people are taking turmeric,
Turmeric powder,
Turmeric. Yeah,
turmeric
yeah,
and
yeah,
powder,
all
yeah.
kinds of
yeah,
Spices. Yeah.
spices.
spices,
And I
yes.
think that helps the immune system. And I think the US has bad diet practice. We're a
Mhm.
meat and potato country, and beef and potato country, actually.
Mhm.
And therefore, I think they would learn a lot if they looked at the diets of the Indian. And on the vice versa, I'm not sure that uh, uh, Tamil Nadu could learn too much from the USC, except that they need to understand that the democracy, one of the problems with democracy, it allows for inequalities in financial inequalities and
Mhm.
social inequalities.
Yep.
And that you're suffering from some of that in India now, particularly the financial inequalities.
Exactly. Yep. That's very nice. I think a very thought out response, right? Two diverse perspectives. One is related to the diet and our cuisine, and another is related to social and financial inequality. Wow, that's amazing. So I heard that you had similar to the air conditioner uh, taxes that they wanted you to pay. I heard you had some interesting situation with the Income Tax Department of India. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So what happened? Ernst and Young was doing my taxes, and one of the things I did when I went there,
Uh-huh.
after the first year I stayed there, I didn't leave the country for 365 days.
Oh,
So that was one of the prerequisites to file this. So Ernst and Young was doing my taxes. They realized I'd stayed 365 days, and I had a special skill because it was a point of sale company that hired me, Verifone. Um, and I had a special skill in that I brought the first scanning system in the world. I was a designer of one of the guys that designed the first scanning system, supermarket scanning system in the world. And we, excuse me, we created a barcode.
Mm-hmm.
So they advised me that there was a loophole in the tax that I could file. So it was under Section 10, Paragraph 15 of the Income Tax Act, and the whole case is available online. If you go to indianoon.org and then ask for my name and income tax, Indian income tax, the whole thing's written up there.
Oh, is it?
Obviously, the judgment was in my favor. Then they changed the tax law, so I couldn't do it again.
Wow.
But I also did this same thing in Germany when I was in Germany, and I won in Germany as well.
Okay, this is like one of a kind situation for for a country, I'd say. So I wanted to quickly move our conversation related to Kamal Haasan. Makkal Needhi Maiam, which is one of the first centrist party now in India, and Kamal Haasan. So, do you know Kamal Haasan? Have you seen any of his movies?
I don't know him personally, but I've seen two of his movies, the cop movie and the one where he played 10 roles.
He's talking about
Vettayadu
Vilayadu, where he played the cop. It's the cop movie for him. Okay. And the movie where he played 10 roles, which is Dasavadaram.
Dasavadaram. Okay. So what do you think of his acting, and especially the 10 roles and the prosthetics and?
Fabulous.
Nice to hear.
He's very talented. He speaks wonderfly. When he spoke at Harvard, he's so down to earth, so believable that he inspires me when he talks. And
okay, so did you watch his speech at the Harvard?
Yeah, we just watched it again the other night.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was there in that meeting, and I asked him a question. That's how my journey with him started. Yeah, he quoted my great grandfather, and I said, and I was the person to ask the question. I was the next person in line to ask the question, and coincidentally, he quoted my great grandfather, C. Rajagopal, and then I great grandson, and and I asked him a question on something, and he said, "You all come and join the party," and that's how my journey started. One quick question for you is, you've been looking at, you've listened to his Harvard speech. So why Makkal Needhi Maiam? Why Kamal Haasan? What is kind of attracting you to his politics?
First of all, if you look at Chennai politics, or Tamil Nadu politics, it's been two parties. One party the next party, but it's the same two parties. Nothing changes. It goes from one party, ADMK, and DMK, ADMK, and nothing changes. It's the same. The people don't, it's just according to how much money they want to give people to get the votes. And people don't get anything from it other than the initial gift. And Kamal's got a platform of change, the real change, permanent change. And what's very interesting for me, because when I came there, I thought, with all these young kids graduating from college, why isn't this, and this country is now developing a middle class. Up until they had the IT revolution, there was two classes, the rich and the poor. And now you were developing a middle class, and the middle class was very, very strong middle class, much stronger than what's in the US, by virtue of the fact they were all college educated, they were all engineers, they were all smart, they all had good work ethic. And I said when I came there about a year in, I said, this country, if the middle class unites, then they can change this country.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great point.
His platform is directed at the young, for the middle class kids to take over, and they can do that because their numbers now is large.
Exactly. Yep. The youth, yeah.
The youth, yes, yes.
So
Absolutely.
the future's in the youth, in the middle class, the young middle class.
And I think he knows that, and he keeps going. At least before COVID, he visited a lot of colleges and schools, and he's trying to sow the seed of change within everybody. So, what are your expectations from Makkal Needhi Mayam, M&M?
Well, my expectations are that it's a beginning. It's a beginning of a platform, a beginning of an era that I hope becomes the largest political party in India.
Oh, thank you. I think it will over the course of time. So I mean, I'm thrilled to. So usually, right, we say the angry young man, right? That's a famous term that we use in India, where youth, who want to be the change, who doesn't like the status quo, they are very vocal and try to be vigorous, right? And I actually see that anger in you. And you were saying that you people vote and they don't get anything apart from the initial gift that they get.
Yeah.
So I'm so thrilled to see that anger in you, and I'm sure it will pass on to the people of Tamil Nadu.
Thank you.
So, what is your message to the people of Tamil Nadu?
That they have to accept change, that their lives are going to change in this platform, not on any other platform. But if they want to see change in their life, they have to embrace something like the platform of Kamal.
Thank you very much. I think I really appreciate it. Madam,
Yes.
Thank you. Time எடுத்துட்டு எங்களோட டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு really appreciated.
Definitely, we are very
ரொம்ப நன்றிகள்.
Yeah, we are very thrilled. ரொம்ப thanks எங்களை invite பண்ணதுக்கு. We are very thrilled to be a part of M&M, and
Awesome.
I'm a diehard fan of Mr. Kamal sir. So
I'm sure he'll watch this video, and if everything goes well, we'll see if we can maybe, and if we can meet him. He's been interacting with North American folks. We've had some Zoom calls with him earlier, so I'm sure we'll do it again. He did say that this is not a one time, it's going to be recurring. This is the beginning. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversations, and he'll be thrilled to hear, I think, first-hand information, right? Like he'll be thrilled to hear something from you directly rather than watching this video or me going and telling something, right? I think
sure.
We'll see how it goes. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Vanakkam. Thank you.
You stop the recording.